What's up, YouTube? I'm sweaty and itchy today, but these are my theories on speaker designs, why they do certain things that they do. Okay, back in the 80s, let's say, I mean, a lot of people say the 70s, a lot of people will say the 90s, but really, it wasn't either the 70s, 90s, or 80s. It was kind of like a blend of all three decades. They were using like Fisher speakers. Everybody says they suck. They're full of shit. I had a set of Fisher speakers. They were the best speakers I ever had, besides these Kenwoods that are sitting here that I can't use because guess what? I'm poor and I don't have a receiver with 2 channels working to power them. But my theory on the reason they designed those speakers that way, like say cloth surrounds, they were easy to push in and out. You know, they didn't have much. Yeah, they weren't real stiff or anything like that. The reason they designed them that way was because a lighter, easier to move speaker cone will produce a broader band of frequencies upward. Downward you lose some, always, but upward you gain. Yeah, you gain more upward than you lose downward, per se. And that's why they did that. Nowadays, they make speakers really stiff. Like subwoofers especially. They make them real stiff, real hard to move. That extends low frequency response because a speaker that moves really easy, the voice coil, will jump from one end to the other at a low frequency. Like, okay, think of it this way. Imagine a sine wave. Wiggly, wiggly, a wiggly line. Well, picture a small speaker trying to reproduce that sine wave and the movement that it would have to make. It has to be fluid. It can't go doot, doot, doot like that or it won't make sound at all. So the reason behind that, a light speaker cone will do that. It'll be like boom, 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 rather than a fluid motion. That's where light cones come in to clarity. You make a heavy speaker, and yes, it'll have low frequency response, but it'll be muddy as hell and not very clear and kind of bleh sounding. Or you can make a really stiff light speaker that will be able to reproduce the other parts of the sine wave. Like okay, picture a sine wave, a wiggly line with little spikes all over it. There's the rest of the information that gets sent to the speaker. And hence the way that they combine the two things. But mid-ranges, I don't know why they're getting stiff with those. Like my Polk Audios, they sound great. My DB69 or 651S, my pair that's in my Blazer, they were really stiff, and I don't know why. However, I guess lightweight cone, stiff suspension equals clearer sound. I don't know, but they're probably some of the best speakers I've ever heard. They're not the best, but they're the best car speakers I've ever heard, bar none. But, you know, like, okay, take a look at this little speaker. It's a Logitech speaker. It's actually made by Tangband, but it's easy to move. It's got a lot of excursion for a little 2.5 inch, 3 inch driver. I think it's a 2.5. I mean, look at this. That's a lot of excursion for a speaker that small. But it's real easy to move. However, the surround is really stiff and the spider is really stiff. And with the phase plug, I don't really know what the purpose of a phase plug is, don't ask me. But with the phase plug, you know, the phase plug seems to me like it produces, like I had another set of speakers similar to these. These are the Z2300s. I had the Z3s. Now that phase plug would resonate at certain frequencies and cause some ear fatigue issues. But but this one doesn't do that, I imagine because it's a better speaker. Now I know Tangband makes speakers for Logitech. And I've looked their shit up and yeah, it kind of goes together. The Logitech sub that I have, the 8-inch Z2300 sub, which is a beast. I looked up Tangband's products, and by God, there it was for like $70. It's a damn good deal. It handles like 200 watts RMS, and it'll fucking pound in the right box. But you know, a lot of times people will buy these, and they don't have a clue what goes into designing them. Well, I've got the gist of it. I couldn't make a speaker. Well, I probably could, but it'd take me years to get it right. But you could design an all-around full-range speaker that would sound okay. Wouldn't be very clear though, and probably not be totally full range, because that's impossible. That's why we have tweeters and mid-ranges and subs and woofers and all this shit. That's why we have the 4 levels of speakers: subwoofer, woofer, mid-range, tweeter, and sometimes super tweeter, but I don't see a use for a super tweeter. I can't hear anything they put out. I never have been able to. Like, seriously, since I was 5 years old, I've never heard a sound out of a super tweeter. Never. Nothing. And I haven't ever been able to hear all the way to 20 kilohertz, so fuck you. Okay? I've had some speakers that would go there. I've had headphones that would go there. I've had a set of speakers that had fucking had a frequency response of, like, I think it was 58 hertz all the way up to 33,000 hertz, and I still couldn't hear 20 kilohertz. And this was when my ears were virgin. They hadn't been destroyed yet. Why don't you sit on that for a while and think about why the speakers are designed that way. So if they can extend beyond where we can hear, they will be able to reproduce the sounds that we can hear easier. That's part of my theory. I don't know how it all works. If anybody that views this video is an expert, works for some company that makes speakers and they design them or something, please chip in, tell me where I'm wrong, tell me where I'm right, because I know I'm right about some things. I have to be. I've thought about this way too much to be wrong about everything. Thanks for watching.